A new poll finds a majority of Americans view the Catholic clergy sex abuse crisis as an ongoing problem. According to the Pew Research Center, 79% of U.S. adults say the recent reports of sexual abuse and misconduct by Catholic priests and bishops reflect ongoing problems that are still happening in the church. Far fewer, 12%, think the recent reports reflect things that have happened in the past and mostly don't happen anymore. Joining me now is Greg Smith, one of the lead authors of the study. He's Associate Director of Research for the Pew Research Center. Greg, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
These numbers are really fascinating. 69% of U.S. Catholics you polled say this is an ongoing problem, whereas a quarter of American Catholics say this is a problem from the past. What do you make of those differences?
Well, the numbers that you just cited are some of what I think are the most striking findings in this survey. The data make clear that this issue, this crisis, is definitely on the minds of American Catholics. Virtually all of the Catholics that we interviewed told us that they've heard about this issue. Many of them tell us that they're talking about it with their friends and family. And as you said, 7 in 10 American Catholics think this is an ongoing problem. They do not think the recent reports simply reflect things that happened in the past and that don't go on anymore.
So the U.S. bishops have a major problem looking at all this. They're meeting right now in Baltimore. Your report comes out today. One of the things in the report found that a quarter of American Catholics have reduced their offerings to their local parish. What do you make of those numbers, and what is it going to mean for the bishops gathering in Baltimore?
Well, what the numbers tell me is that this issue is affecting the behavior of American Catholics. It's affecting the way that they practice their faith. As you mentioned, a quarter of American Catholics tell us that they are attending Mass less often than before because of this issue. And a similar share, about a quarter of American Catholics, say they've reduced the amount of money that they've donated to their churches and to their dioceses. So this is having a real impact on Catholics in the pews.
So they'll be maybe watching what's happening. It sounds like your research found that people are talking about this issue. The bishops are meeting in Baltimore. We'll see what they can agree on and how the American people will then respond to that action item in Baltimore. I'm curious, of the Catholics you polled, 55% said Pope Francis has done an excellent or a good job handling this crisis, whereas when they are polled about how the U.S. bishops as a whole have done this, I think the number 36% said they have done a good or an excellent job. What do you make of that difference?
Well, what that suggests to me is that Catholics in the United States are really differentiating between different levels of the hierarchy. You're right, Pope Francis, on balance, gets positive ratings from American Catholics for the way he's handled the recent reports on this issue. Now, to be sure, there are plenty of American Catholics who have concerns about the way Pope Francis has handled it, but still, on balance, he gets positive marks. Most Catholics, or at least half of American Catholics, also give their own bishop positive marks for the way he has handled the issue. But the American bishops as a whole, they come in for a little more criticism. Only about a third of American Catholics give the American bishops as a whole positive ratings for their handling of the issue.
Is there, when you look at those numbers that you're talking about here, is there a correlation in this Catholic opinion between those who go to Mass frequently and maybe those who only go to Mass on Christmas or Easter, for example?
There definitely is. As on so many issues, we see pretty big differences between Catholics who say they attend Mass regularly, at least once a week, and those who say they attend Mass less often. Those Catholics who say they attend Mass regularly are both less likely to say they've donated less as a response to the issue, and they're more likely to give Pope Francis and their own bishop and the American bishops as a whole positive ratings for the handling of the issue. That's not to paint too rosy a picture. To be sure, many Mass-attending Catholics have real concerns on this front, but overall they're more positive than those who attend less often.
So much in this report to look at. It's all on your website, so if anybody at home wants to read the full review, they can pick it up at the Pew website as well. So
they certainly can, pewresearch.org.
Okay, Greg Smith, Associate Director of Research for the Pew Research Center. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.